Yabasira, there's a new shop with this.
Yes, so. Now my new shop with this.
This one a mega upgrade with this girl.
Now so, as that time they upgrade their customers. This Easter season, I say make me to shock my customer with mega upgrade.
That time don't they do upgrade again?
Yes, so.
For this Easter, pay 2 months for Nova Bouquet. StarTimes go upgrade you. Go basic or smart bouquet. Pay 2 months for basic or smart bouquet. StarTimes go upgrade you. Go classic or super bouquet. Pay 2 months for classic or super bouquet. You go watch 100 for DTH. This promo now from March 1 go reach April 30, 2021. Go recharge to enjoy better entertainment this Easter. Terms and conditions they shall. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
The State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mines and Agriculture Ògùnsílà pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ lábẹ́ ìṣàkóso gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ẹnìfà wípé gbogbo oníléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá olókoòwò kéékèèké àti oníléeṣẹ́ kéréje-kéréje ní ìgbà tó kó owó. The 10th International Trade Fair for 2021 níbi láti máa pàtẹ oríṣiríṣi ohun àlùmọ́ọ́nì ilẹ̀ wa fáráyé láti rí. Ìpàtẹ ọlọ́jọ́ mọ́kànlá yìí àpàkọ́rí ẹ̀ ní nínú àyípadà ọ̀tun bá iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àti ìṣòwò kó lè máa fi gbàgbàgbà lọ́jà àgbáyé. Ìpàtẹ okòwò yìí yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ Friday ọjọ́ kejì oṣù kẹrin títí di ọjọ́ Monday ọjọ́ kejìlá oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2021 látàgò 9 títí di aago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ní gbàgede Nta Abeokuta Trade Fair Complex Abẹ́ Road Òkèmọ́sàn Abẹ́òkúta. Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 0033-469742 080-336-16560 tàbí 081-608-27864 ẹ̀rọ ayélujára www.ogunchambers.org.
The Ogun State government, under the leadership of Prince Nta Abeokuta, MFR, in its efforts to plan for housing and infrastructure requirements, road, urban and rural renewal projects, water, rural electrification, and many more, is embarking on a property enumeration drive across the state. The project will assist the government in ascertaining the key areas to be fixed in ensuring an equitable distribution of all projects and infrastructure. This is to implore all residents and business owners to cooperate with the enumerators as they visit all houses, business buildings to capture data. Kindly provide all necessary information to our enumerators who will be having on them verifiable means of identification. Ogun State, building our future together. Announcer, Ministry of Finance.
The families of Chief Simeon Oladotun Olabode JP of Onsa Compound, Nta Abeokuta, announced the call to glory of their husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, Chief Simeon Oladotun Olabode JP, Akogun of Oru Christians, Akindara of Oru Kingdom, Baba Ijo, Ebenezer African Church, Ijokuota, which took place on the 22nd of March 2021 at the age of 96 years. Burial arrangement to be announced later. Announcer for children.
Maria Bambikaya Ramadan. Maria Bambikaya Ramadan. Akiki Ola. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akiyin ku àmójúbà oṣù Ramadan. Bí àwẹ̀ ti wọlé dé wẹ́rẹ́, iléeṣẹ́ Nta Abeokuta ké sí ẹ̀yin oníní dúdùn ọlọ́rẹ láti wá ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ àwọn ètò oníranran eléyìí tí iléeṣẹ́ Nta Abeokuta ti pèsè sílẹ̀ fún yín láti jẹ àǹfààní oore tó pọ̀ tó sodo sínú àwẹ̀ Ramadan. Àwọn ètò wa bíi ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí, ọba ẹlẹ́san, tafsir al-Quran, Ramadan Kareem, pèsè ìrun kí Allah ṣọ̀wá jálẹ̀ àwẹ̀. Láti ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ tàbí àlàyé ní kíkún ẹ pè 08028292330 tàbí 08028766190. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀, Ramadan Kareem.
Ìkàyà Ramadan.
Tonight on the news, President Buhari salutes martyrs of Nigeria's civil war. Ogun State government begins payment of gratuities to retirees. Plus, stakeholders on wildlife activities meet in Abeokuta, deliberate on ways of combating illegal operations. Tribute to what he called the patriotic martyrs of the Civil War, whose glorious sacrifices granted Nigeria's unity. This was while granting audience to the world leader of the Tijaniya Islamic religious movement, Muhammadu Mahin Niaz, the Grand Khalifa of Sheikh Ibrahim Niaz. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
Sheikh Muhammadul Mahi Nias, accompanied by leaders of the religious sect within and outside Nigeria, was in the State House to formally introduce himself as the new leader of the Tijaniya Islamic religious movement to the government and people of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the movement for profusely praying for an end to Nigeria's civil war as well as the reunification of the country. The president recalled that in the civil war that lasted 30 months, Nigerians on both sides lost numerous lives and prayed that never again shall the nation experience such. He welcomed the Grand Khalifa to Nigeria and commended their efforts in finding solutions to the problems of security in the country. President Buhari described the visit of the spiritual leader as historical and formally appreciated the religious sect for carrying out its activities in a peaceful manner. The leader of the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Dairu Usman Bauchi, described the sect as the largest with 70 million followers across the globe and prayed for continued peace and blessings of the country. During the event, Sheikh Nias led prayers for peace, unity, and greatness of Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Ogun State government has commenced payment of outstanding gratuities to retirees in the state. Governor Nta Abeokuta says the check of 500 million naira presented constitutes a part payment of backlog of gratuities which the state inherited as liabilities from past administrations in the state. He explained that the distribution of the 500 million naira to both states and local government retirees demonstrate the fulfillment of promises earlier made with labor leaders that the state government will be paying 500 million naira quarterly to offset the backlog of gratuities. He said his administration has also resolved to include men and women in its social welfare scheme for them to have access to various social intervention programs in the states.
That this process that we have started will definitely continue. Apart from the payment of this monetary entitlement, let me also assure you, our elder statesmen and citizens, that we are committed to providing for you in both under our social well-being and welfare program. I want to enjoin you to take advantage of some of the programs that we have, the Abeokuta program, which is a program that we put in place to allow us to provide interest-free to our vulnerable citizens in the society, of which you have graduated to the one.
No fewer than 257 beneficiaries were presented with checks which contained their gratuities. Preparations is in top gear ahead of the 10th Gateway International Trade Fair by Ogun State Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture in a collaboration with Ogun State Government, billed to commence on the 2nd of April 2021. Hakim Jimos reports that the theme of the trade fair is transforming agriculture and commerce in a highly competitive global market. His report is here presented. Anywhere in the world, trade fair is organized to boost agricultural and commercial activities with the hope of linking consumers with the manufacturers. Since the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic, public and private sectors have been exploring the various opportunities offered by the pandemic. Ogun State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture is one of such agencies that is poised to transform the business environment so as to attract local and foreign investors for a turnaround in the sector and boost economy. To this end, the Chambers, in collaboration with Ogun State Government, says it is working tirelessly for a hitch-free 2021 International Trade Fair, adding that public-private partnership initiative is the best way to go for economic transformation.
We are not unmindful of the need to prepare for adequate security and safety of participants, exhibitors and visitors at the trade fair. Our security agencies and institutions are working with us to ensure a hitch-free trade fair. Hence, priority attention is being given to all the safety protocols to forestall the spread of COVID-19 infection during the fair.
To ensure that we do have a free flow of in-trade into the African continental free trade area is very important and is key. And it is through this type of exhibition and trade fair that we can key into it. They can know what we have, what can we do to the value chain, and then we can have a great opportunity to key into AFCFT.
While encouraging local entrepreneurs to do more in the face of the current global economic realities and challenges occasioned by the outbreak of coronavirus, Ogun State Government promised to continue to provide enabling environment for commercial activities to thrive so as to boost the state's economic diversification drive.
Look at the amount of roads being constructed. Look at the upgrades being done in the housing sector. Look at the transformation in the agricultural space. The attraction of investors from outside, both indigenous investors, foreign investors into Ogun State is an ongoing process.
Slated to begin on Friday, 2nd April to Monday, 12th of April 2021 between 9 and 6 in the evening, Ogun State International Trade Fair was last held. The COVID-19 pandemic has reversed development gains for millions in poor countries, creating more unequal world. UN Deputy Secretary General Aminur Mohammed said this was from findings of a new United Nations report released on 2021 Financing for Sustainable Development. Adebola Luxin Sunday completes the reports.
Investigation shows that global economy has experienced its worst recession in 90 years due to the coronavirus pandemic.
To be joined today by the Deputy Secretary General, Aminur Mohammed.
The UN Deputy Scribe, while addressing newsmen, said the international community must take immediate action to prevent more countries from losing their ability to develop.
Disasters don't respect national boundaries, as we've seen.
The report warns that in the world's poorest countries, the Sustainable Development Goals could be pushed back another 10 years.
We're seeing between 119 and 124 million people estimated to be the newly pushed into extreme poverty. And the world has lost the equivalent of 255 million full-time jobs. We must never allow a health crisis to transform into an economic, social, and humanitarian disaster. The United Nations is strongly committed to helping ensure that all our countries can emerge on equal footing from this crisis and with an equal chance of building a safer, healthier, more equal and sustainable future.
The report issued by the Interagency Task Force on Financing also suggests more flexible monetary policy and immediate action to address widening inequalities towards building a better world. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And talking COVID-19 vaccination, the Aragbiji of Iragbiji in Osun State, Oba Abdulrasheed Olabomi, has attested to the safety and efficacy of COVID-19 vaccine. The monarch stated this while the civic engineering team, office of the Osun State governor, joined him as he takes a dose of the vaccine in his palace. Joshua Ogunjide reports.
The Aragbiji of Iragbiji, Oba Abdulrasheed Ayotunde Olabomi, who received the first jab in his palace, eulogized the present administration's proactiveness in prioritizing the health of Osun citizens, stressing that the awareness to curb the COVID-19 infection among residents through civic engagement team is a welcome initiative. Obalabomi noted that the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is safe.
The President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has taken it. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has taken it. Our Governor Isiaka Adigboyega has taken it. And members of his cabinet. Nobody in Nigeria has witnessed any adverse reaction of the vaccine. So then let us be afraid to take it.
The special advisor to the governor on civic engagement, Honorable Latumbo, who was on advocacy visit to the palace, enjoined residents of Osun in general to embrace health workers and take the vaccine.
As a special advisor to the governor on civic engagement, we are doing a lot of public enlightenment towards that, so that our people will not be ignorant towards that, so the effectiveness of this vaccine.
It must be emphasized that the singular path through which the virulent nature of the pandemic can be overpowered is by getting vaccinated on time.
Following the extension of the COVID-19 vaccination from frontline workers to the general public, in Kwara State, the exercise is now witnessing a rush. Olajide Bello monitored the exercise at some centers in Ilorin.
19 vaccine March 11th for onward administration on the executive and frontline workers to prevent the deadly disease. Ever since the arrival, the vaccination has been generating mixed reactions. Going on a monitoring tour, I visited the Federal Secretariat, where the Public Relations Officer of the Federal Fire Service, Assistant Superintendent of Fire, Amin Olaiwaju, bore his mind on the exercise. He and his colleagues related their experiences on receiving the jab.
Initially, I was a bit skeptical before collecting. I won't lie to you. Collecting the vaccine, I was like, what will happen because of the incidents we've been having around, like, okay, fine, vaccine causes blood clotting, causes another negative effect. But I believe with the reviews I read online and some other people have, because I met a doctor too and I asked details about the vaccine. He said it's safe to use. It's not painful. It's very easy. The exercise has been smooth and good.
Out of curiosity, my crew also visited the State Ministry of Health to confirm whether other residents who were not frontline workers are willing to take the jab of the COVID-19 vaccine, and this is what was discovered.
Not taking the injection, after taking the injection, there's no reaction. So I feel good.
This morning, I called my son. We discussed this morning. I said, Ashola, they said I should go for COVID vaccine. I said, Mommy, go for it. So that is why I'm here.
With the rate at which people like Amin Olaiwaju are trooping out to get the jab to protect themselves against the coronavirus, the 55,790 doses allocated to Kwara may soon be exhausted. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
To other stories, reviewing the existing laws to stipulate stiffer penalty and prosecution have been identified as some of the major ways of combating national and transnational illegal wildlife trade in Nigeria. This was part of solutions preferred at the Regional Common Action Plan on combating illegal wildlife trade in southwest Nigeria. Lukman Adefesos reports that the program was organized by the Nigerian Conservation Foundation in Abeokuta.
Illegal wildlife trade as fourth transnational crime in global rating has long posed a threat to biodiversity, not only on iconic animals such as elephants, rhinos, tigers, and pangolins, but also other less prominent species such as vulture. The workshop on Regional Common Action Plan on combating illegal wildlife trade, organized by the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, had in attendance representatives of various security agencies, judiciary, wildlife conservationists, among others, to improve awareness on the illegal wildlife trade issue with vulture as target species, to bring to front burner the common challenges and limitations against enforcement of wildlife laws in Nigeria, sensitize the enforcement and border control agencies on the endangered species, and draft a common action plan to strengthen wildlife enforcement and protection.
Most of the forest reserves are not properly managed these days. And I think that government have to fund this sector and be able to develop manpower development. We need to train. They need more training so that they can be able to manage these resources effectively.
To suggest that there's a review of the penalty for these crime. One, then two, also to have our judiciary trained more on the prosecution of environmental crime.
The Director General of Nigerian Conservation Foundation, Dr. Mutari Aminu Kano, explained that the existence of open wildlife and bushmeat markets in Nigeria is an encouragement to poaching and trafficking. He therefore called for concerted efforts to allow the law takes its course on offenders to serve as deterrent to others.
Combating illegal wildlife trade is what we want to accomplish, is what we want to achieve, but we are using vultures to project that message out, and that is why we need to come together. Especially our laws need to be implemented. We have beautiful laws, but we need implementation. If we don't implement these laws, then it becomes difficult for us to be able to have a headway in the conservation of our wildlife.
There was also a campaign on the need to stop the killing of vultures because the animal reduces the cost of health care as a feed on carcasses, which are likely to harbor bacteria that could have been harmful to human environment, and is gradually going into extinction.
More reports on Chief of Naval Staff and Naval Reform, economic diversification will come your way after these timeouts. Stay with us.
State government, under the leadership of Prince Nta Abeokuta MFR, in its efforts to plan for housing and infrastructure requirements, road, urban and rural renewal projects, water, rural electrification, and many more, is embarking on a property enumeration drive across the state. The project will assist the government in ascertaining the key areas to be fixed in ensuring an equitable distribution of all projects and infrastructure. This is to improve all residents and business owners cooperate with the enumerators as they visit all houses, business buildings to capture data. Kindly provide all necessary information to our enumerators who will be having on them verifiable means of identification. Ogun State, building our future together. Ministry of Finance.
Welcome back. Ogun State government says the March edition of the State Environmental Sanitation will hold tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th of March, 2021. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Environment, says the government called on residents of the state to participate in the monthly exercise by cleaning drainage in front of their houses and commercial premises as the rainy season approaches. The exercise is scheduled to begin from 7 a.m. to 10 in the morning among areas of the state, while there will be no vehicle or human restriction during the exercise. And that's how much time will permit us to serve you on the